no valet, no nanny even.
It's 1927. We're modern folk.
The characters from Downton Abbey are back, this time on the big screen. The posh British drama captured audiences around the world for 6 seasons. Now the story continues in a feature-length film premiering this weekend. Eli Glasner, our CBC film critic, is here to talk about it. Eli, our senior producer, was telling me during the commercial, try to keep the excitement down.
You did a little jig when Lady What's-Her-Name stepped out of the car.
I can't. I'm so stoked. I'm so into it. Okay, tell us about this film adaptation of this beautiful show.
Let me begin with an admission from your humble film critic. I'm a newbie to the world of Downton Abbey. Hadn't had the pleasure until recently. I was actually asked to do an interview with the real life, well, the actors behind Mrs. Hughes and Mrs. Patmore. So I did kind of the Game of Thrones. Lots of binging, lots of watching recaps, looking at family tree diagrams. So I'm good. I'm up to speed. Okay. And the thing is, whether you're a fan or not, you can tell this is a special event because, as you saw, who's coming to dinner? The king and queen themselves. So this is quite the production, both upstairs and downstairs. And let me just show you a little clip of how Mrs. Patmore, the head cook herself, well, she is, I think the technical term is in a tizzy. Let's take a look.
A royal luncheon, a raid, and a dinner. I'm going to have to sit down.
So there you go. Very excited. I mean, finally they get to serve their finest to, their royal highnesses, but the royals bring their own royal staff with their own sense of royal entitlement. Let's take a look.
So my maids and I will not be involved in the preparations?
You mean during the stay you'll be the butler and...
Excuse me, I am not a butler. I am the king's page of the back stairs.
So our staff has nothing to do?
I'm sure they can be useful.
I love how he says the king's page of the back stairs. You can almost hear people stifling a laugh, and yet he makes it sound so pretentious and officious. But this means, imagine you spent your life of servitude. Finally, you get to serve the queen pheasant or something, and now they're saying, no, stick to your knitting. Go to the back room and make sausages. We've got this under control. So, of course, without spoiling, there's going to be a bit of a revolution. So that's what's happening downstairs. Upstairs, there is high drama, but I want to focus on some of your favorites. Maggie Smith as Violet Crowley, and what's the one woman that can stand against Violet is, of course, Isabel. And so while the rest of the family are celebrating the royals and looking forward to the pomp and circumstance, the trumpets, the carriages, the horses, well, Isabel has a different view. Let's take a look.
To quote Tennyson, kind hearts are more than coronets and simple faith than Norman blood.
Will you have enough cliches to get you through the visit?
If not, I'll come to you.
It's like wrestling, but put downs from dry British wit.
They're verbal ninjas, those two. Exactly. I love it. Okay, so you're a new recruit. You had to binge watch. You had to get up to speed. You saw the movie. What did you think?
I think for newbies like myself and for longtime fans, it certainly works because the stakes are higher. The royals are coming to town, and so everything is elevated. I think what makes Downton Abbey special is that sense of restraint. And so this is a film now where there is a scene that's all about the serving of shrimp to the queen. It is treated like the coronation. Like it is an event, and there's such drama. Oh, she's going to look at me. What do we do? That kind of thing. That said, there are some interesting new elements. It is 1927. We see a glimpse of gay life in Britain in the 1920s. There's also a storyline about actually an attempt on the life of the king. Now, I will admit, as an outsider, originally, I look at this and I think, okay, it's just about the foppery. It's about the, the beautiful dresses. Will my linen be ready for high tea and all of that? But I had a chance, as I said, to talk to Leslie Nichol and Phyllis Logan, the real-life actors behind Mrs. Hughes and Mrs. Patmore, and they put me right. What they were telling me is that there's something, I think, deeper that brings people back to Downton Abbey. Take a look.
It's not just escapism, actually. It does celebrate things that people do value, and like being decent with each other, and like being loyal to people, and all those traits. At heart, they're very important, and it feels in this world at the moment that some of the people in charge are not giving that any thought at all.
You think of the conversations we're having right now here in Canada with the election. You think of Britain and Brexit. That's why you go back to the Abbey. That's why this is a fitting return, and also I'd say a fitting farewell. They do have moments where they think about the legacy and the future. So 3.5 stars out of 5.
Good enough for me. Thank you, Eli.
You're welcome.